In this morning's food segment, today's main course, we're sitting down with Emeril Lagasse. Emeril is a legend in the culinary industry. He has 4 restaurants here in New Orleans, but only one of them is open, Merrill in the Warehouse District. He has restaurants in other states too. His other 3 restaurants, Nola in the French Quarter, Delmonico in St. Charles, and Emeril's are all still closed, but that's going to change next Tuesday. Emeril's, which helped make this chef a household name, will reopen after being closed for a year and a half. It is less than 2 weeks before opening day, and Emeril's in the Warehouse District is abuzz with activity. It's a mammoth operation opening a restaurant like this that bears the name of one of the most famous chefs in America.
Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to break everybody up into groups.
We sat down with Emeril to talk about why it's taken him so long to get this place open again.
Challenging of rules and regulations, but more importantly, challenging with getting staff, both front and back of the house. That indicator was like, okay, well, we better pump the brakes a little bit.
And when he finally settled on a date, we were in the middle of the 4th COVID surge, and that made getting open and staffed even more challenging.
So if I was to try to open Emeril's, Nola, Delmonico, impossible to find the amount of staff. We're having trouble just staffing Emeril's. It's going to limit our hours of operation, so we're going to open 5 dinners to start, and once we get it going, then we'll evaluate lunch, we'll evaluate how many more shifts that we can add.
And I mean, we're shooting this story a couple of weeks before your opening, and I'm looking at this place is packed with people. I mean, it takes a lot to get a place like this up and running.
Well, it's the flagship. I've had a lot of time to think about what we're doing at Emeril's, what we have done, what my initial goal was in 1990 when we opened was to be the best restaurant that we could. Let me rephrase that, the best white tablecloth restaurant that we could for New Orleanians. And I had to really think a lot about that, and I've had a lot of time to think about that with COVID, about all of our restaurants. We went from 14, and when Emeril's reopens, we'll be at 6. We permanently have had to close 3 restaurants.
He still has restaurants open in Las Vegas, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and Florida, but it was important to get this restaurant, where it all started, back open.
My goal now, reopening Emeril's, is going back, refining what we did and how we opened in 1990, and refining to take us to another place, raising the bar, if you will. Why? Why do I have to do that at, I'm 60 plus years old. Why do I have to do that? I'm working a shift every day. That's what I set out to be. When I was approaching the 30th anniversary, I already was refining what we were doing. Tables, tabletop, interior, bathrooms, china, glass, silver, the menu. And now it's time to really shake it up. It's time to go for the gusto.
Emeril says one of the hardest things for him is what COVID has done to his employees. So many of his people are gone now.
Over 400, maybe close to 500.
And I'm amazed what it takes to run a place like this. I mean, before COVID, what did it take to run a place like this?
We were at 110 employees to operate this restaurant in the old days. We're at 70 right now.
He says he tried to get the PPP money to keep his restaurants going and his employees paid, but it didn't happen.
I have a great team, and we worked diligently to fulfill those needs of what they required. And yet we received no money, no support. There are a lot of restaurants, God bless them, in the city of New Orleans that did get money. Great, I'm glad for them, but we didn't. So, we're basically operating right now on what little cash flow we do have in our organization between the 2 restaurants in Las Vegas, Coastal and in Destin, and Bethlehem. I've carried as many people as I could. Unfortunately, I had to let a lot of people go.
And a lot of people have been with you for a long time.
Not my choice, but there was no choice.
And when Emeril's opens, he'll be in the kitchen again, and everyone will be doing double duty, including his sous chefs.
They're going to have to work a station every night. I'm going to work a station every night. That's just the way that it is. We're opening with no chef, so David Slater, my culinary director, and I will co-chef Emeril's until we either make someone or find someone. But I'm not just settling for just, anyone.
And when the restaurant opens back up next Tuesday, things will be a little different.
So the menu is really shrinking in size. We've taken a lot of the dishes and have really sort of retweaked them to make them evolve into today's time. It's no longer 1990, Eric.
No.
It's 21.
But I got to tell you something. When we're talking about COVID and the business and everything, there wasn't a bit of smile. When I mentioned food and menu, all of a sudden, that's the Emeril I know.
Yeah. I try to make people happy on my craft, which is cooking. And I think that I have trained the staff to be the same and have the same mentality to make people happy. If we can make people a little happier when they leave than when they came in the front door, then we've done our job. And so whether that's with food or great service, cleanliness, hospitality, that's what I'm out to be. I'm out to be that restaurant.
It should be next Tuesday when the restaurant does open. We have a little bit more of the interview, a more personal side of the interview with Emeril and me. You'll be happy to know this, the banana cream pie, which you love so much, is coming back. It's going to be a little bit different, they say.
How?
However, no, I can't tell you that.
Okay.
A little bit different, but they say it may even be better than it was before.
Wow. Okay, that's my favorite thing there. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
and it is sad to hear like so much impact to someone who's so established. It makes you think about all these smaller
and he's
restaurants
hoping
who are
he can get
struggling
NOLA
too.
back up and then maybe Delmonico down the road, but that's very iffy.
All right, guys, stick around. We are staying close to developments in the tropics. We'll be right back.